I don't know if they're the best defensive line in the league, but they're up there, and your guys went toe-to-toe with them for 60 minutes.
Well, they're really a good team. You know, it's hard to look at all their film that you've had, you know, in the past games, and then go in there and say, oh, they weren't as good or they're better. Or, you know what I'm saying? They were a good football team, a good front seven especially, and you know, the thing with South Carolina is you have to buy enough time to throw the football, and that's been a major problem for teams. And our guys played pretty well in that regard. What we've got to do is we've got to run the ball better. I think we averaged 3-something a carry, and we can't win games doing that, and we're making a big emphasis on that this week.
To be able to add Bullard into the mix like that, I know he's a guy who rotated in some, but to have him play most of the game at guard, I guess, and for the results to still be pretty good, what's that say about him and about kind of the cohesion they've got up front there?
Well, I'm really proud of Alex, first of all, simply because, you know, and everybody knows he was a starting center at the end of spring ball. And then, you know, Stone, we moved Stone to center, and Bowles played tight end. He started at tackle, I think, against Akron, and now he's guard. And he's done a really nice job with his attitude, number one. You can't play well if you don't have a great attitude. So Marcus Jackson played 20 snaps for us, and of course we're pretty high on Zach Fulton. I think he's really a good player, and obviously we didn't want to lose him, but you get those guys playing like that, and it's a confident group. It's a close group, and they're confident, and they should be, you know, right now.
Are you confident you'll have Fulton, Zach back?
Yeah, he'll be back. He's practiced every day this week, and he's full speed. He's ready to go.
How much do you think you've missed Rajon Neal in your running attack the last 2 weeks?
Well, I don't know. You know, it's hard to say because I don't know him as well as, you know, maybe if I'd been here 2 or 3 years and that and other. But obviously there's a depth chart for a reason, you know, and so maybe we'll ask the same question next week and see. I think Ray's going to be okay and all that, and so maybe I have a better feel of it next week. But obviously he's our number one running back, and we miss him.
Has the offensive line been as good in run blocking the last 2 weeks as it had been previously, or do you have to take into account the level of competition?
Well, no. The bottom line is that we have an efficiency level that we need to be running the ball at. In the last 2 weeks, we did. Now, against Bama, we were just a few percentages off in this, but last week was the worst percentile that we've run the ball all year. And we're not a pass protection O-line, and we're an O-line that's supposed to be able to be confident and do both very well, and we didn't last week. So we're certainly making a big emphasis, and Ray will help us with some of that too. But our other backs are playing well and those things. If we don't run the ball well, it's the offensive line that needs to amp it up and get it done.
Coach, how do you handle Tiny after a game like that where he played great against a great player, but he's so tough on himself? I mean, talking to us about that sack, 2 days later he was still kind of seemed like blaming himself for one play.
Now, if you guys, you guys watch Tiny just like I have, the great thing about sports is you see the same thing I do, you know. Your opinion may be different, but you see the same thing. Tiny's come so far. Tiny wouldn't have been ready to play Jadeveon Clowney the first 2 or 3 weeks of this year. He wouldn't have been, but he was on Saturday. And great players. I mean, I think Tiny graded out 80%. And you grade out 80% against a great player. I think you're doing something well. The problem is the play was amplified so much because of the results that it ended up being, you know. So, but I'm proud of him, and he'll be fine. You know, he's young. You know how them young guys are. They get over stuff so fast.
Is that part of the thing that you think makes it potentially special, is that it does eat at him? I mean, that's what he said on Tuesday, I guess it was. He's like, you know, yeah, it hurts, but I think thinking about it all the time is going to make me a better player.
I think that makes him special, but he, you know, also the fact that he's 6'7" and 330, and he's the fastest lineman we got and the strongest lineman we have. That probably has something to do with it too.
How rare gifts that he has?
Well, it's a rare deal. I mean, Tennessee's really fortunate to have him and the other guys that we have. I mean, you know, they had to go out and beat out a lot of schools for darn near everybody we have in our room. But there are some talented guys, but the makeup of the guy too, to have everything he has And for him to go over there and cry because a guy beat him on one play, there are not a whole lot of those. And if they are, most of them guys are playing in the league and guys that care about that much. But usually, the better you are, not usually, sometimes the better you are, the lazier you are. And that's not the case with this cat here. He goes out and works.
You mentioned Bullard coming out of the spring at center and then moving to Stone back in. Has Stone surprised you with how effective he's been, having moved back to center?
Well, I wish I could take credit for moving Stone back to center, this summer, but that was Coach Dooley's idea and Coach Chaney's idea to say, hey, let's see if we can get another center ready also. Yeah, I'm really surprised about how well he has played. And don't take that wrong that I don't believe in the kid. He's playing with pad leverage. He's playing with his hands. He's not chest blocking. I mean, and of course, the thing that cost him his job last year, I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but he ain't had a problem with that either.
He's a pretty smart guy too, isn't he? Making checks and calls.
Yeah, he's a lot smarter than I am. He does a nice job, and he's very confident, and the guys are confident in him. The whole game's about confidence, and when he was setting it, and when he came in there and started making all those calls, the fellas played a little faster.